Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey folks, this week is episode 189. We have Gary Corbett as our guest a little bit later on, but right now we're going to talk album acquisitions and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2020 inductee nominations.
Ooh.
So what do we want to do first, lads?
Well, I just lost the induction thing, so let's do something else for a minute while I find the list again. I just freaking had it. Oh, there it is.
Pull up on our page. That's easy.
I've got it. Yeah, that's what I did, and I've got it though. We're good.
With the nominees right here. So.
Yeah, and the one that I posted on our page came from the Button Queen from the Pop Cat. What's that? Pop Culture.
A pop culture popcast.
That's it. I can never get the title right.
It's odd the way they
it's
say
too
that.
long. Of course, that's no different than
Christine
Ages of Rock getting called Rock of Ages all the time.
Same thing.
You know?
Yeah, when you take a play on words like that and you twist it, then people get all confused and shit. So
yeah,
confused.
But that's
all right.
good.
So what do you want to do first? We're going to do album acquisitions. Album accusations.
Sorry, Brian, we have a new name now.
Well, first of all, let's talk a little bit about. We got to spend some time together this week.
Was it Friday night? I slept
Friday night.
It was Friday night. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't get to do that very often.
No, we don't. I was down in the Ville for. We went down to watch some football games with some nephews, and then my sister was down there, and then we got to hang out and have some. So you guys love sports so much, we went to BW3s, and you guys watched trivia or something.
We didn't watch anything, really.
Didn't watch anything.
Well, what I watched was
what I watched for a waitress.
Well, I was going to say I was watching Dennis getting mad because the waitress wasn't showing up.
Yeah, that was.
Well, the thing about that.
Service.
Normally that would bother me, but I was enjoying being with you guys and Bill's sister and Bill's nephew. That I didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah,
service.
It wasn't too bad, but service wasn't very good.
Yeah, if you order a beer, you better order two, because by the time you get done with the first one, it's time to order the second one. That'll get there by the time you're ready for your third one.
Which, ironically enough, my sister Erin, who frequents many bars, always orders two. I don't know if I've ever been with her where she's only ordered one. Where she has to wait. She will only order one if she can go up to the bar and get the second one. If she can do it herself.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but if she has to order it from a waitress, always two. And it didn't matter, by the way, if she's already had five. She's still, or six, it's still two.
Right.
Trust me.
I mean, the food
anyway,
was good.
We had a good time. It was fun.
Food was good, and company was good. It's just kind of a scattered. You could tell the manager was running around also and apologizing for shit, and it was, I don't know.
I would be willing to bet they ended up short-staffed because somebody called in, or a couple of somebody's called in. That's usually when it's like that. That's what has happened.
Yeah, but anyway, we had a good time. It was fun hanging out with you guys and hang out for a bit, chat.
And then after we left Buffalo Wild Wings, I went home, and these two guys over here, went to acquisition some albums.
Just one more place. I didn't acquisition.
Yeah, we did.
He did.
Yeah, I got two.
Nope, I didn't acquisition a thing, man. You got on the hook.
I got the right pile first.
So
you didn't want the one. So anyway, go ahead.
No. So I went to. I got up Saturday, decided I wanted to go to. So went to Space Monkeys, which is the place that Dennis has talked about on the show a couple of times. Went there. Spent enough time there that I had to take a break to go to lunch and have them hold my stuff so I could come back and look more. I'm not joking.
There's a lot to go.
That's really what happened. There's a lot to go through. And then after we finished there, my sister and I went to after lunch we went to Book Broker, and then after that we went back, got the records from Space Monkey, and then we went to a new place called Atmosphere Collectibles, which is down on Main Street, on North Main Street. So it's almost to Garvin Park in Evansville. But the cool thing, and I want to make sure everybody knows about this, if you are a record collector in the Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky area, there is a group that you should join. And let me get the group name so I don't look like a fool. It is called Southern Indiana Vinyl Collectors. And it's a closed group, but the people that own that shop kind of run this site. It's cool because they you can post stuff for sale on there. People are just posting that they bought this, or they found these finds, or different things. It's really pretty cool. I've found some pretty cool stuff on there. And there's one guy on here trying to figure out how to flatten records that are warped, and he's putting them between glass and baking them in his oven. So it's kind of cool to listen to that stuff. But it's a cool shop. I really enjoyed going. Prices in there were really good. And they had a really good, clean selection of stuff. So it's a neat place. I don't think Dennis has been there yet. Are you going? You're going Saturday?
I'm going Saturday. Okay. That's my first thing I'm gonna run. I'm gonna make my circle. I'm gonna go there, Space Monkey, and then Trader or Book Broker, then come home at that point.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Saturday, if you want, while you're out, stop by my house and help me primer my walls. I've got some painting to do on Sunday.
There you go.
Let me think about that for a minute.
I figured a fuck you was coming.
No. Don't you have some limbs to burn?
Yeah.
As soon as the burn ban gets off, I'm going to leave the limbs there for another year, and then I'm going to burn them.
I think you should burn them really close to your, property line.
Yeah. Except that would catch my fence on fire, and I paid a lot of money for that goddamn fence.
Yeah, well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
All right, so I will start with album accusations. I want to call them accusations. It's really hard to say. Okay, so Dennis, so we had these guys on the show a couple weeks ago, the Cold Stairs. So Dennis picked this up for me. It's a Cold Stairs Mountain album. It's kind of weird. I opened it up, looked at it, and it was really funky. Like I thought it was all scratched up, but it played really well. So I don't know if you've looked at yours yet, but it looked not so good. All right, I got some crazy stuff this time, so I'm telling you. So I picked up Philip Bailey. You guys remember Philip Bailey from 80? He did his song with Phil Collins called Easy Lover. It's kind of a blues record, soul record.
You might know him from that other band he was in, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, what was he in that band? Earth, Wind, and Fire? Yeah, you've probably heard of that too. Actually, I picked up an Earth, Wind, and Fire Volume 1 Greatest Hits.
It is Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, I picked up one of those. Volume 1 Greatest Hits, and really wanted to buy it, but it looked like somebody had used a cheese grater to play it. So put that back. But the songs on there are incredible, so I got to put that up. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Morris Day and the Time.
Wow, I like that.
Yes.
Pick that up. So it's got Jungle Love and The Bird.
Yeah.
I got to get another copy of this though, because it sounds okay, except for the apparently Jungle Love skips constantly. Right. So I've got to get another copy of that, but that's all right. Picked up some Aretha.
That was well played then.
It was. Picked up some Aretha. This has got I Knew You Were Waiting for Me, the duet with George Michael, which is I think is pretty good. And then Jumpin' Jack Flash. Got some other stuff on here.
That song with George Michael, I won a trivia contest on a call-in radio station because that was like her only number one.
Was it really?
I find it.
Our Respect might have been a number one. I don't remember what it was, but the guy said Respect is not the answer. So everybody was going to
It's funny because we've found that before, right? Sometimes some songs that we find out, we've had that discussion before about this song really never made it to number one, although we all would have sworn that it really did because it got knocked off by some other dumbass band. Anyway, so I picked up Scandal, which is the first record. This is a great record. I like that a lot. I like Patti Smythe. This is a band called Diesel. It's called What's in the Tank. This is from 1981. When I worked at the record store I picked this up when I worked at the record store up here, and it's a good rock record. But I haven't listened to it since.
Does that have the Sausalito song on it?
It does. Sausalito Summer Night.
That's what I was thinking. That was their song.
Yeah, so it's a good record. This is kind of cool. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's called Brian May and Friends.
Oh, that's got Starfleet. That's got Eddie Van Halen.
Starfleet, Let Me Out, and Bluesbreaker. It has Eddie Van Halen, Alan Greitzer, Phil Chin, and Fran Mandel And
fine, but buddy of mine had that, bought it new when it came out, but that's been years ago. So
I bought it used.
That's what I'm saying. It's good find.
Yep. Picked up a little Pat Travers. Cool. So this is Boom Boom. This is the greatest hits record. So this has got 9 songs on it. So I'm looking forward to listening to this too. I'm not a huge Pat Travers fan, but I do like some of his stuff. So
smoking whiskey.
Then I picked up this, which was very happy to find, which is 707.
Oh, I got that album. I bought that off of this
Megaforce, and it is in really, really good shape.
Cool.
So I'm happy. That's my buddy. That's our buddy Tom. Our Todd Howard's right there.
Todd Howard.
Yep, yeah, right there.
And he's gonna. He told me he's gonna sign mine next time I see him too, because I've got.
Maybe he's gonna sign mine too.
We can see, and he said if we want to, we can mail him and he'll sign them and send it back. So
that's the sign he's gonna use.
Probably. Right. So the other thing, I picked this up. I got one I'm gonna say here. So this is a band called Jason Isbell, and the 400 unit. This is a country record. I know you guys probably won't like it, but it's really, really, really good stuff. It's not like twangy country, but I really like it. I picked this up at Atmospheres. It came out in 2017. It's in phenomenal shape, so I was happy about that. So this was something I found, and I was like just jazzed to find it because I've heard about it before, but I've never seen it. So this is a band called Trigger. Right. This is from 1970. Oh, dang it. What is it? I can't think. This is a Gene Simmons band.
Really?
Yes. From I'm gonna have to see what.
So that explains why we've never heard of them.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's 1978, and it's actually this is a promo record. I don't know that their actual record ever came out because I was looking for it, and if it did, there weren't very many of them. It's really pretty good. I listened to this earlier tonight. It's really a pretty good record. Nobody I've ever heard of. I mean, these guys didn't go on to be like anybody famous that I could figure out, but Jimmy Dugan, Richie House, Tom Negra, and Derek Remington. So those are people I've never heard of before. But yeah, this was a Gene Simmons kind of thing. So, but it's really pretty good. So,
interesting.
I did see again 14 copies of New England.
You didn't buy one of them, did you?
No, I did not buy one of those flipping copies.
No.
So those are my album acquisitions. I'm pretty happy with most of what I got. Like I said, not pleased about the Time record because it sounds like dirt. So I have to figure that out.
Where'd you get that at? Space Monkey?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should have looked at it. But anyway.
Well, I looked at it. I just didn't. I guess I didn't look at it close enough. So I don't know.
All right.
Whatever.
All right. So anyway, I got a couple here through the mail, and then I got a couple that we picked up after our dinner the other night. One I did get in the mail, and I got a day or two before it was released, is that Michael Sweet 10. This album kicks butt. I mean,
show the record. I want to see the record. Show the record.
Yeah. It's hard to get out. Here. Let me get it out here real quick. Just give me a second. It was so staticky that it was hard to get. I mean, there's the record.
That is cool.
Isn't that cool? It's it's clear acrylic with green and black splatters on it. But yeah, this thing is so staticky. It doesn't want to. Damn, it's tight. I couldn't even get it out the first time. I had to really.
Haven't heard that in a while, have you?
Yeah, no shit. It's like prom night.
It was last week.
Oh, God damn it.
I didn't go to prom, actually. Anyway. But yeah, it has that record. It also came with this was the special edition. So this is actually the mastered for vinyl. This is a Rat Pack Records does a really good job putting these things together. This is number 265. I don't know how many. This is limited edition, collector's edition, and it did came with a little 45 with the two singles on it.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It's on green. It's on green vinyl. It's got a green vinyl. And then it came with the booklet, of course, that got all the words and all that stuff. Some great photos. Then it came with another kind of just a card with that with his picture on it. Just a really neat packaging. And then it also came with another kind of a record. Looks like the record. I guess you can put that in a frame if you want to. So you don't do your record with on the back. Another great picture of Michael. So, and I tell you what, it was funny because I still haven't played the record itself yet. But whenever I got the record, and I'm like, okay, since I bought it, I went on Spotify, and I tell you what, within the first 10 seconds of hearing the first song, I'm like going, I'm hooked.
Yeah, it's good stuff,
like,
man.
Oh my God, it's really, and I've listened to the whole thing, and it is really, really, really good. I'll put that back in a second. So when we went to the store after we went to eat B-dubs, I picked up a little Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. Paid $15 for it, but it's in really, really good shape. And those old Alice Cooper albums are hard to find. But anyway, I like that a lot. Listen to it all the way through. It's very interesting though, because that is also Ezra was involved in this. So it sounds almost like it's a Broadway play of some sort. It kind of almost has a story to it and everything. Great, but it's a great album. Lucked out, got me a copy of Paul Stanley's solo album. Here's the cool part. Number one, it's in really, really good shape. And number two, it has the poster and the merchandise thing in here, which, anyway, it's in there. Trust me. I showed it to Bill. But anyway, I was like, that's really cool. Cause I love finding those little nuggets, extra things there. And the poster's in fairly good shape. It does have a little bit of a crease on the one side, but I'm not going to do anything with it anyway. But so now I got my Paul Stanley solo album, which I never had except for on 8-track. I did buy something.
I can't believe you never had that except for an 8-track.
No, I had it on 8-track. That was it. I know that's all. I actually had it on CD. I bought it on CD too at some point. But anyway, never had it on album.
That surprises me.
I bought. Here was my way. I bought Gene Simmons first. Then I bought Peter Criss. Was thoroughly disappointed. Then I went and bought, and I got.
You bought the first two worst ones, and then you went and bought.
Oh shit! So then I bought Ace Frehley's, but then I got the picture disc of it, and I've still got it. And then I got so whenever Paul Stanley's come out, I waited a long time to buy his, and I ended up buying it on an 8-track. It ends up that was the best one of the bunch. I liked it as much as Ace's. But anyway, so I went on Amazon the other day. I was like, I'm going to buy a record because I had a little bit of credit left, and I'm like, I'm going to get a Kiss record. Well, they're $20, blah blah blah. But for $13, end up with shipping. It was $14.
Wow!
I got Kiss Unmasked.
This is
100. This is 180
gram version.
180 gram off Amazon. And look what's in
$13, man.
And look what's in here too. It comes with the original poster. How cool is that?
That's so anyway. Sweet.
It is very sweet for basically $13, $14. But
wow.
Yeah, I was really happy with that. I was like,
that up right now.
Yeah, you should. And they had a couple extra copies. And you know what? This is one of those albums that was a sleeper. And over the years, I've come to really like this album. It's actually got some pretty cool tunes on it.
Well, that was always my least favorite Kiss album, much to the dismay of my friend Jason, who that is one of his favorite Kiss albums.
Right.
But I do give that album a listen once a year. Yeah. And each year I grow to appreciate it a little more. Yeah. But still, that song, She's So European, that I can't. Other than Soundcheck at Fort Wayne, that song fucking sucks.
Though, we saw them play that though that night with that Kissmas show when those guys Philip and them played it, and it kicked ass that night. Remember when you and I went down to Nashville and saw?
Doesn't count. Gene Simmons wasn't there.
Why no? Blonder than hell, but I mean it sounded good.
That was pretty cool.
$22 now.
Oh really? Well, I picked it up on a good day. Sometimes you can find those. They just get that was through Amazon. So anyway, yeah, I love. Anytime I see that, I'm going to pick up a new Kiss album for $15.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal, man.
Because every one of them they're usually $22. So anyway, so now I've got me a new copy of that. So I'm slowly working my Kiss album collection back to new. So anyway, yeah, that's all I got for this week. But I am going to be hitting it hard on Saturday, so try that new place out.
Cool. Well, let's transition here quickly. We're going to have Gary on here shortly, so we'll try to keep this as brief as we can. The 2020 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees were announced today, and we're going to go about this discussion as the 2020 Music Hall of Fame because we've beaten the dead horse to a pulp about the Rock Hall of Fame and who gets nominated. So we're just going to go with the Music Hall of Fame. The nominees this year are Pat Benatar, Dave Matthews Band, Depeche Mode, the Doobie Brothers, Whitney Houston, Judas Priest, Kraftwerk, MC5, Motorhead, Nine Inch Nails, The Notorious B.I.G., Rufus featuring Shaka Khan, Todd Rundgren, Soundgarden, T-Rex, and Thin Lizzy. Which, I mean, for the most part, that is a pretty decent list. It's one of the better lists that I've seen over the past few years. Right. So, for the most part, it's all right. Now, having said that, we're going to each pick, of these artists, the 5 we think should go in.
Okay.
You want to go first, Dennis?
It's going to be harder for 5 because, okay.
It is going to be hard for 5.
So the ones that have to go in, I'm going to tell you right now, is Doobie Brothers. They pay their dues. Judas Priest. Motorhead. Thin Lizzy. Those 4 are definites. Now, that 5th one's tough because who do I give it to? Do I give it to my favorite or do I give it to who I think deserves it more? Oh, man.
Well, right now you have picked 4 of the 5 on my list.
Wait a minute. Who was the 4? I missed one of them. You said Judas Priest, then
Doobies, Judas Priest, Motorhead.
Okay.
And Thin Lizzy. Those are the ones I think they just deserve it because they just need to be in there. Now the 5th one is almost it's okay. I love Pat Benatar. She should be in there. Now I also think that MC5 should have been in there years ago. It's bullshit that they're not in there already. Todd Rundgren should be in there, for basically his skills of writing and performing. T-Rex should be in there. So that 5th one's a hard one. If I had to pick one, I say Pat Benatar because she's just beautiful. I love her. So there you go. That's my 5.
Well, I would have to say I would agree with your 4.
Okay.
I'm stuck on number 5.
If anybody says Dave Matthews, I will come through the screen and I will choke you out.
I will choke.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but now.
Yeah. So oh man,
that 5th one's a tough one.
I think I agree. It either has to be MC5 or it has to be T-Rex. It's gonna end up being, not one of them.
It'll probably end up being Dave Matthews.
It'll be Whitney Houston. I'm telling you,
Whitney Houston, or it'll be Rufus with Chaka Khan. I don't think it'll be Notorious.
Rufus and Chaka Khan was in there last year, and they didn't get picked. So
yeah, see, I think that's why they'll be in there this year.
You think?
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't even know who.
What do you think? What do you think there, Alan? What's your thoughts, man?
Well, I would have to go with Motorhead.
Well, Motorhead's already in there. That was our top 4.
Motorhead was in the top 4.
Oh, that's right. Good Lord.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You thought you had it easy. Now you don't.
Well, in that case, yeah, that is.
It makes it tough because there's some people deserving of it.
Yeah. Well, it's each of them on their own merits, they've all put out good music. They all have a great fan base.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're not a Nine Inch Nails fan,
right?
Or a Depeche Mode,
yeah,
right. I mean, both those bands are bands.
They deserve it more than
Soundgarden's even worthy. I mean, there's, I think,
and because of the death of this, I think that will Cornell's death that will probably push that
may propel them forward. I don't know.
Has T-Rex been nominated before, or is this their first nomination?
They have no. They were the first time nominees were Dave Matthews, the Doobie Brothers, Motorhead, Notorious B.I.G., Pat Benatar, Soundgarden, T-Rex, Thin Lizzy, and Whitney Houston.
How has Doobie Brothers not been in that list before, too?
How's Thin Lizzy not been in the list before?
Exactly. And we talked about this earlier real quick. 5 artists will be selected by the public and comprise a fan ballot that will be tallied along with the other ballots, too. So that's going on. I just read something about that a while ago. So Motley Crue's pretty high on the list. I know Iron Maiden's high on the list, but these bands could be put in there also. Not guaranteed, but it is an actual one of those bands will be available to be inducted.
Yeah.
So but I'm going to make T-Rex my 5th pick.
There you go.
And that's a good pick. I mean, that's a good pick.
You know, I'm not a T-Rex fan per se. You know, I know the Bang a Gong. Right. There's one or two other songs I would know it was T-Rex if I heard them because I've heard them before.
Right.
But, you know, he was a big influence on a lot. Or Mark Bolan. Is that his name?
Right.
Mark Bolan was a big influence.
And he had a short life.
He had a short life, you know. So it's kind of, and right there you're falling back to the Kurt Cobain, the Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin.
27.
The 27 Club. You know.
I don't was he 27 when he passed?
I don't know, but why not?
Well, I wasn't going on the 27 Club. I was going on that they died young. You don't know what else was coming. You know, were they put on a pedestal when they shouldn't have been? Because had they lived longer, would they have made an ass of themselves?
Right.
You know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, his name's Nikki Sixx.
Oh. Burn! Hey, Nikki, you want to come on our show?
Yeah, he won't be on the show.
Yeah. So there's my 5.
There you go, man.
And that's a good pick. I mean, those are some that definitely need to go in, and there's some that just, you know, they're questionable. But that 5th pick's hard. The 5th pick is really hard.
It is. It ain't easy.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
So either email us contact@agesofrock.com or post it on our Facebook or something. Out of this list, which 5 would you pick?
Yep.
Oh, and voting ends on my birthday.
There you go.
January 10th, 2020.
January 10th, 2020. Bill will be even more elderly than he is now.
Yeah, 54.
I'm already there, dude.
Damn, that means Dennis is going to be 55 next year.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Don't say that.
Hey, I hit the big 5-0 next year.
I'm not flipping you off. I'm not flipping you off, but look at my finger today. I've got this arthritic swelling. That's why I'm in a bad mood. My finger hurts so bad right now. I can't move my finger. It's just like, I can't even hardly do this. It's hard to do.
But for those of y'all that are listening to us, Dennis is giving us the finger, and he's using arthritis as
he's trying to anyway.
Well, it's not on purpose, but that is the finger that hurts, and it is the one that says you're number 1. Anyway,
there you go. All right, well that will wrap up our pre-show, and y'all stick around for Gary Corbett. Hey Gary, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourselves?
Pretty good.
Doing all right, man.
Good. Yeah, good to see you. Exactly. I've seen all 3 of you.
You've seen all 3 of us in the last 2 months.
Yeah. We interviewed you, 2 years ago at the first Rockin' Pod Expo?
At the very first one, that's correct.
Yeah.
So how did you do at the Rockin' Pod this past year?
That was great, man. It's grown tremendously, man. I've been a part of all 3, and to see the progression, Chris really did a great job this year. Seems to have been a huge success. I was only there on Saturday. I know the party Friday night was supposed to be great, and all the special guests, and I know Michael Sweet performed, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. I'm sure next year will be even bigger.
We hope so.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
You guys going to be there next year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Unless they move it to someday we can't, I don't know. It has to be an act of God.
I've already told Chris that I need to know the dates the instant that he gets them, so that I don't, because I run a sound business on the weekends, and I need to make sure that I don't book myself, because I did that last year. This past one, I booked myself out, and then I had to subcontract it to one of my 1099 employees.
That's right. Well, at least you got it covered.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple of, one of them's 23, I think, and the other's 20. They might both be 24 now. I don't know. But one of them's really good at lugging the gear around, and the other one, she's really good at running the sound. So,
that's it.
And I was really nervous that night, but they pulled it off like champs.
Cool.
Beautiful. Now you can stay home and put your feet up.
That's right.
Collect some money.
Yeah,
it's always good to have somebody working for you.
Well, I still like to do as much of it myself as I can, because like Uncle Gene, I like to put all the pennies in my pocket.
I hear that. Well, you get somebody to carry the stuff now. You can let them set it up and carry it, and you just sit and mix and stuff. That you do the fun work.
That's right.
You need a mule.
Yeah, that's it. I don't. These days I don't. I hate carrying my own keyboards around. They're getting too heavy. I'm getting too old for that stuff. So,
I understand that.
yeah.
As a bass player, I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
Actually, I think I saw a photo of you not long ago. Maybe it was last week on some website of you standing backstage at a Kiss show playing some keyboards. Was that in the Crazy Nights tour?
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's some. Probably it was either Crazy Nights probably or the Monsters of Rock in Europe. There was a lot of photos that floating around from.
I'm thinking that was the Monsters of Rock.
Yeah, that was.
Wasn't that the one where they put you on the camera and it pissed Paul off so bad?
That was one of them.
Yeah, because I believe the rule over there is if they're playing in the band, they get to be on film or something. I don't know.
Well, at that show, they didn't really hide me very well at the show. They didn't have a place designated for me to be hidden. So I was just off on the wing of the stage, just happened to be behind. I happened to be behind the stack of PA, so the audience really couldn't see me. But I don't think the camera guy knew he wasn't supposed to be coming around and looking for me. And there I was standing there. Phil, I didn't realize that it was going to wind up on the big screens, nor did I realize it was going to wind up being released on video and becoming such a cool thing to find on YouTube.
Did you find that later? Is that what happened? Or
yeah. I just put together a new website, and so the guy, my buddy Steve Thompson, who built the site, he's great with the Google and he's great searching stuff out, and so he's come across so much content that he's put on my website. So it's like my website became like this time capsule of everything I've ever done. And he's managed to find videos and at least recordings, but I mean I've seen Arsenio Hall shows that I've done, and all of that stuff is now on my website. So yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff that I never saw before putting together this website.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and it's GaryCorbettMusic.com. So if you want to check it out, come check it out. Lots of videos, lots of music, lots of
So what drove you to do that? Now, I mean, what was there?
Well, better late than never. It's one of those things that I know I always knew I should do, and I recently became friends with just Steve Thompson, and we were talking about it one day, and he said, "Well, I build websites, and and he offered to do one for me, and one thing led to another, and I didn't realize he's such a good detective, because he's found so much stuff that I had no idea existed." And it's really cool for me to see it. I don't know if anybody else wants to see it, but it's all in one place now, if anybody does. And so it just has been a fun thing to do, to be honest. There's no real reason. I'm not selling anything, and but for me to be able to have all of this stuff in one place where I could just see it all. I found Martha Stewart commercials that I did 12 years ago that I forgot all about or never saw on TV, or and things like that. I've got the TV commercials now. It's YouTube is an amazing thing.
For sure.
Yeah, found some gems for sure.
Well, here's a little something that you posted on Facebook a few hours ago. It says, when it comes to producing, no two people approach it the exact same way. As a musician and a music lover, it is definitely a song that comes first. Every artist is unique, and it's the producer's job to cultivate that uniqueness. And it shows that you do some music production.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about something that you've produced and who that might be.
Well, I've produced a bunch of stuff. I produced a band out of Minneapolis called Flip. I produced a record for Debbie Gibson, or Deborah Gibson. I recently produced a country artist more southern rock than country, named Shane Dawson. I'm always producing stuff. It's, even when I was touring, I was producing stuff in between tours. But I enjoyed the touring so much that I never stayed home long enough to get in the flow of producing one project after another. I like the variety of things. So when I'm on the road, I usually miss the studio, and when I'm in the studio, I miss the road. And
I think we all know how that feels.
yeah, and it's nice to get a change, but the problem is if you don't stick in one place long enough, you never get traction to really build it as a career, and to put one project after another, it never happens because I'm always going back out on the road. So, but it's a trade-off. But I love doing all of it, so I wouldn't be happy any other way. But
so are you in Nashville still?
Yeah, I'm in Nashville.
Yeah, that place is hopping down there, man. There's nothing short for a rock scene for down there. That's for sure.
No, man. Well, one of the things I've been doing is shows with Scrap Metal, which is a band that we put together about 10 years ago here in Nashville for a show here in Nashville. And it was Mark Slaughter, Gunnar and Matt Nelson, Perry from Firehouse, and Kelly Keegi from Night Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did is that was the core band, and then we had different singers in front of the band, and we have like 3 or 4 different guest singers, and we do three or four of their songs, like guys like we just did a run in Alaska. We got Kip Winger, Lita Ford, Michael Sweet has done it. Barry Goudreau from Boston, and so it's great. Elliot Easton from the Cars, and we had George Lynch at one of the shows, and so it's great, man, because the set's always changing depending on who the guests are, but all of the songs that we play are hits, and because we only do like 3 from each artist, and so the shows are amazing, and they're a lot of fun, and so that started here in Nashville because all of the '80s guys are here. It's awesome, It's like the witness protection program for but it's cool to be able to do stuff like that,
So do you have your own little like a coffee house you go like secretly go to?
No,
you gotta have
that thing started here in town. We did it one time during the Tin Pan South convention. That week during the Tin Pan South, they did an event where they wanted to feature all the '80s rock writers that night, and so we did it for that. And then they asked us to do it the following year, and we did it. And then somebody said, you guys really should do this more often, and go out and do it in casinos or wherever. And we've done quite a few shows. Like I said, we just did a run at the end of May up in Alaska for a week, and we had a blast. And it's hard though because getting 4 or 5 different singers to have the same Saturday night off is difficult. So coordinating those shows sometimes could be a little difficult. But when we get to do them, it's always awesome.
Yeah, people love to hear that music, and they want to hear it live. And when you've got, like you said, the amount of talent that you have in this band, you guys are all people from these bands. That just makes it even special. And then you get these special guests in. That's a hell of a night. You get a whole multitude.
Not long ago.
Wow.
He was amazing, and and it's a thrill for me. I mean, to be on the stage and get to play with these guys that I've never played with, and of course I know the songs, and like to play the Boston stuff is great. And once again, I found a video clip on YouTube that's now on my website. When Barry Goudreau did the Scrap Metal show with us 2 years ago, and Michael Sweet was singing, and we did a couple of Boston songs, and
wow,
for me that was the stuff I grew up listening to. So it was really a lot of fun, and so the Scrap Metal stuff is fun.
Yeah, I might check out a bunch of these videos. That sounds cool.
That sounds cool.
Well, just go to GaryCorbettMusic.com.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Check out some of those videos.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing that tonight. Sounds cool. Is there? So you talked about people that you've played with. Is there somebody that you haven't played with yet that you really like? That's somebody I'd really like to sit down and just jam with. Is there one or two of those guys? or
Well,
women. Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper is one of those that I still feel like I haven't gotten there yet, and I definitely want to. But
Have you seen her live?
I not in a long time, but she, I mean, she was always an amazing live performer. And that's what when I became aware of her in New York before she had her solo deal. She had that band Blue Angel, and I used to go see them all the time. And she was an unbelievable singer, live with those guys, and like a little fireball on stage. And I was one of the band's fans, but I guess they didn't have too many of them because they broke up after one album. So, when I got to work with her, she was just getting started with, the record. She didn't even have a record deal yet. And
Right.
So,
I saw her 2 summers ago. She opened for Rod Stewart on a tour.
That must have been a good show.
It was a great show, and actually, I was really pretty pissed off because she started early. We were outside the venue in line waiting to get in, and she started, so we missed the first 3 songs. But I was so impressed with her voice. Today, she sounded great. The energy was very high. The band was really good. Yeah. I mean, it was really very impressive. And I was pretty pissed off that I missed the first 3 songs because they started early. But I really didn't know what to expect, but it was good.
Is that the first time you've ever seen her live?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen her live, and it was really impressive. It really was.
Oh, as a singer, man, live was always where she shined. She's a really good singer and a great performer. I don't know, I haven't seen her in years. I'm sure she might not have as much energy as she used to, but I'm sure she's still singing great. She
was running around and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I was just surprised. When you haven't seen an artist live and all you can picture is the videos you've seen them in from the 80s. I'm like, this is just going to be a wreck, and it wasn't at all. I mean, she was, like I said, it was pretty impressive. I definitely go again for sure.
Too.
Yeah, they were really good. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
and then Rod Stewart followed her, and it was really good.
He's still got it. He's the coolest rock star ever. And how was his voice? Was it?
Oh yeah, he sounded great. It's amazing because he does a lot of shows. I mean, he's always in Vegas doing a thing in Vegas. He does that 2 or 3 times a year, and he's always got some. About every other year he does some tour, summer thing. But he sounded really, really good, and I thought it wasn't going to sell out. It was at a shed. And so I just I bought lawn seats thinking I'm just going to upgrade. That place was freaking packed. I mean, you couldn't have wedged another person in there with a shoehorn. It was.
Wow, that's really cool to know.
It was packed.
Awesome. And it was, yeah, man, that's a good night of music right there.
It was very good.
I think you're going to see places like that are packed a lot now, especially with our legacy artists.
Yeah.
People are going to see them while they can. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
Getting down to that point now where we're losing them too quick, too soon, and it's everybody wants to see. I'm one of these people anymore. I don't put off. If somebody comes around and I really want to see them, I'm not waiting until the next tour. I'm going to go see them now. Because you just don't know.
Yeah, well, that's very true.
And I don't know if I'll be there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I made that mistake with Tom Petty. When they kept saying it was his last tour, I'm like, whatever. He will get back out there. And then, then here we are, it was a month later or even if that long. And I'm like, oh shit. So then then Ozzy tickets went on sale and I hadn't seen Ozzy before. I'm like, I just bought them. I'm like, okay, I'm not missing that.
Yeah, no, that's
so you have to start that. All of a sudden you have that see them before they die tour. You have to start making that list.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a sad fact of life, man. It's
like other than Keith Richards, you need to get out there.
I was going to say I'm going to try to get Keith to play at my funeral.
That dude's going to outlive all. He'll outlive all of us. I mean, he'll be like, he's well preserved. I think his genes are well preserved.
Pickled.
It's unbelievable, but good for him, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was a gambling man, I would have bet that one he would have been gone a long time ago. But he's good for him.
still kicking and still there and still playing, and it's
still
crazy.
rocking his ass off.
Yeah, and I like seeing that. I do like seeing these people still.
Oh yeah.
That can still do it. If they they get to the point where they can't play anymore, then they need to.
It's amazing though, and it just goes to show the power of music, because you look at even watching Mick Jagger, you think about how he's got to be. What is he, 70 in his?
He's 74, I believe.
74, right? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And when he gets on stage, he looks like he's 25 again. It's crazy.
Well, as long as you look at him from way far away.
Yeah.
When you put that big video screen up, he does not look 70. He does not look.
Yeah, HD TV isn't good for all of us.
Well, but with my 60-year-old eyes, he looks like 70. If you squint, he looks the same.
He needs it to add 10 pounds too, because that way he looks like he actually weighs something.
But I mean, take just in consideration, Kiss, a band you've played with, those guys are 70 years old and they're still out there. I mean, they don't move, they don't jump around like they did, they don't move as fast as they used to. But God damn it, they're still out there doing this shit. I mean, they're still pumping it out.
And I'll tell you what, those
sounds
shoes are not easy to do it in.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Gene sounds phenomenal. I mean, we've had that
now at the top of his game right now. It's just unbelievable how he sounds.
Really? Well, that's great. I haven't seen any shows this tour.
Man.
Yeah, Paul's tape sounds really good, but
you gotta give him a pass, though. That's to do what he does at his age.
Yeah.
And it's gotta suck. That's gotta suck to have your voice be your instrument.
It is. It is.
I would think it's devastating,
Yeah.
I've seen a couple other people like that recently that I was telling somebody needs to love them enough to go, this is it. You need to just stop. Yeah. But the best damn show going today. I can tell you that. So,
as long as they hold off until the cruise is over, I'm good.
How long is that?
And as of this taping, the cruise is 15 days away.
Oh, all right.
You're pretty
you'll make it.
We're cruising from October 30th to November 4th, so yeah.
Right. Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. You guys have a great time.
Yeah. Well, I know tons of people, from the internet groups I've been on. A few of the people that are on the ship I've met in person, but it'll be nice to hang out with them again and then meet the new people that I've just known online for years.
And going on a cruise.
Honestly, I'm more interested in going on that cruise to meet all my friends than I am to see the Darkness or the Queen Experience or Adler or any of that other stuff that's on there. With the exception of the Bruce Kulick thing, I'm dying to see that.
Well, send Bruce my love.
I will. Well, I've hit up a couple of members of his band to see if I can get an interview on the ship. So if I can get up in there, I'll tell Bruce you said hey.
Yeah, please do. I spoke to Bob about 2 weeks ago. I hadn't spoken to Bob in a very long time. But Bruce, I haven't spoken to.
Bob's a character.
Always was.
Yeah.
Always was.
Gary, you ever take any of your bands like that on any of these on any of these cruises? These like rock cruises, and
well,
there's so many of them out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, I had done a couple with Cinderella.
Okay.
Back in 2009 or 10 and 11, we've done two of them with them.
Okay.
But the scrap metal guys, they've never actually. That would be a good thing for
it would be good for one of those boat deals because that'd be a good fit.
Well, and especially because the guests, the special guest singers could have their bands on the boat too. If they, that's an easy way to have them there the same night they have to play somewhere else. They could run across the boat and do 3 songs.
Yeah, exactly.
That might work. Actually, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm going to write that one down.
You're welcome.
You heard it here first, people.
We expect to get some VIP treatment if you see us.
There
on
you
the
go.
Boat, that would happen anyway.
Oh, you've always been nice. Like I said, we talked to you back this last year on the summer down there. I mean, when you come around our table and stuff, talk to you for a little bit. You're always real nice and sit around. I mean, just that's one thing I do like about that Rockin' Pod and Nashville. The musicians of Nashville, everybody there they're just normal people. I mean, they're just average, everyday people. some of them are just more talented than others. You know what I'm saying? And it, but they don't ever. Like I said, you can sit there and they'll walk off stage, and, do some really cool performance, and then they'll just sit there and hang with them, sit there and talk to them, and this is no big deal. It's really
that's
cool.
what it should be.
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, I've never seen it any other way.
Exactly.
I think when you're younger, I mean, there's a lot of and it's what people expect, and then I think so people act a certain way because they think they're supposed to. But I think when you grow up a little bit, that kind of stuff goes away.
You bring that up about the way people think they're supposed to act. A friend of mine, about 10 years ago, their band signed a record contract, put out an album. They did a release party here locally, you know. And I asked the guy, I'm like, "Hey man, will you sell me one of your CDs?" "Oh, I'm the singer. Go talk to the merch person. I don't sell stuff." Well, guess what? You just lost the sale because I'm gonna buy your fucking CD now.
There you go. Hello.
Yeah, so that rock star attitude never really cut it with me.
What he should have said is yes, and I'll sign it for you too.
That's exactly what he should have said.
Yep. Right. They kind of lose focus. It's interesting you say that because my son has an internship with the Indiana Pacers, and so because of that, he's able to work all these shows. So he's worked like a bunch of different concerts that have happened in the last couple months up at Conseco Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis. But Saturday night he worked Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is doing a tour right now where he's doing some of his stuff that he's did on Broadway and the stuff from
The Greatest Showman?
Yeah, The Greatest Showman. He's doing some stuff from The Greatest Showman. And he's doing stuff from Les Mis. Alex said he was the nicest guy. He did not have that whole thing, patted him on the back, said thank you, a lot for your help today or tonight, and was very, very complimentary and very kind. And he said of all the people he's met so far, and it hasn't been a lot, but he's been to 10 acts or something like that. He said he was by far the nicest, most generous, just polite guy that
I'm glad
you could ever want to meet.
It's
go
the other way. It's always it's nice to hear that about people because again, it's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we've learned on this. I mean, to Dennis's point is, I think everybody we've had on the show has always been. We've not had anybody on the show that's been pretentious or a jerk or anything like that. Everybody's just like, let's just have a conversation.
Except for me.
It's really, except for people hosting the show. They're a bunch of dick bags, but what can you do about that? But I mean,
because you're the host.
Yeah, whatever.
It's
true. I mean, we're just people.
Bill.
Everybody. That's it.
Talking.
But, I always consider myself lucky to be where I was because I was lucky enough to have a job doing what I loved. I mean, I loved every day being on the road and playing shows. And so what do I got to be, what am I going to have an attitude about? Nothing to complain about. And I love what I do. So all that other stuff is just nonsense.
Yeah.
There you go. You were talking about meeting, you always hear people say, don't meet your heroes because it might not be what you want it to be. Back in 2008, here's a perfect example. I met Ace Frehley down at the Wild Horse Saloon. We bought the meet and greet and all of that stuff. He could not have been a bigger jerk.
Really?
You could tell walking in the room he was not in the mood. He tried to get out of his meet and greet and everything. And then I met him last year up in Indianapolis at the Indie Kiss Expo. You couldn't ask for a nicer guy. He cracked a joke. Right. I had him sign my Freddy's Comet record. He cracked a joke at my expense. And total 180. So,
Yeah. Well, there is the human side too.
Right.
I mean, everybody's human and has bad days too. But it's hard to, when you're in that position, then you have to do, being a nice person becomes part of the job. You still have to do it,
Exactly.
Right.
But you got to, as long as he was nice the next time, you kind of give him a
Yeah, well, that's one of the nice things about, everybody being on the internet. You kind of know in advance, this guy, sometimes he's a jerk, sometimes he's a nice guy, or this guy is always an asshole. So, going into it, what you're getting into.
Yeah. That's for sure.
And if you pay for that asshole meet and greet, you get what you deserve. You get exactly what you paid for.
Well, that's what I expected.
That's what I expected.
Exactly.
Works out that way sometime.
Yeah.
So you play anything coming up, Gary? Anything coming up? Any tours coming up with anybody, or
No, I've been doing
anybody?
I've been doing some stuff around town with Derek St. Holmes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
love that guy. Love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's awesome.
What Dennis is saying is we approve.
Yes.
Yeah,
We need to talk to Derek St. Holmes. That's who we need. We need to talk to him too.
You know, they played. I played up at St. Minor at Brock's here a few years ago, and he played the night before, and I played the second night. But their bass player stayed the night. They stayed an extra day. They had that something. Gosh damn, on the road band. You know what I'm talking about? This guy who plays bass for Ted now, but anyway, off and on. But anyway, those guys were super nice too. I didn't get to go that night to see Derek play, but everybody said he was just fantastic. You know.
Yeah, he's great, man.
But we've seen him playing with the Rock and Roll Residency. You know, we've seen him play with them a couple times. But he's just a super nice dude too.
Yeah. So he does a thing a Friday nights down at Bourbon Street in Printer's Alley here in Nashville, and
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And so, you know, the club has a B3 on stage that I get to play. And so it's
Awesome.
a blast for me, you know. And so we go play blues for a couple hours. And, you know.
Is that about every Friday night, or is it just?
No, it's, I'm not even sure if I'm doing it this Friday night, but it's like probably I'd say once or twice a month.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll have to check that out because
I saw him by accident. Well, not by accident, but we went to see Whitesnake and didn't realize that they were opening. Whitford St. Holmes opened the show.
Oh,
This
wow.
was it wasn't that long ago, probably 4 years ago. Something like that.
We had the show, so it was about 3 years ago.
It was about 3 years ago. Yeah. So
Dennis, the show
go
is
to see
4 years
Whitesnake.
old this month.
Mhm.
Yeah. Before.
We're 4 years old this
It will
month.
be 4 years. I forgot about that, and it will be 4.
We're old
Yes, we
timers.
walk into the show and I see this T-shirt for Whitford St. Holmes. I'm like, holy shit, they're opening the show. It was, so you got them and Whitesnake. I was like, damn, this can't be any better. That was a really, really good show too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he can still sing his ass off. It's amazing.
That dude can sing. That I tell you what, Hey Baby off the first Ted Nugent album. That song is probably one of the best rock songs ever. I love that song.
Yeah,
Love
we
it.
do that on the Friday night things too.
Oh.
But that he was one of the guests at Scrap Metal, which is how we connected. You know, they opened for Kiss on the Crazy Nights tour too, so we had met all the way back then. But you know, I don't think he even remembered me. But
Right.
That's because you were hitting under the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Behind the black curtain.
Yeah. Well, the first tour, they just stuck me wherever they could find a spot. You know, so I was never really well hidden. I was usually just set up behind the PA. So you know, if you came around the side, you could totally see I was there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't until the Hot in the Shade tour that they built the condo finally.
So there was some rumor. I don't know if it's rumor. I mean, I know I read it that during that show or during that tour there were shows that they didn't have you play because of ticket sales and cost. Is that true or
No, that was Crazy Nights.
that was Crazy Nights? Oh, the Crazy
Yes.
Nights tour. There were
That
shows
was
that.
true.
Wow, I had read that, but I wasn't sure if that was real or somebody made that up.
Here's what happened. After the first 3 weeks of the tour, they decided that they needed to cut the expense of me being there, and I think they wanted me to start traveling with the crew. And I think we tried that one night, and that wasn't going to work. And so we went another couple of weeks until the Christmas break, and then they left the day after Christmas and went out without me because they needed to save money. And then they brought me back and then for a couple of weeks, and then I was home for a couple of weeks, and then back for a couple of they depending on the markets that they were in. And and the last time when I went home from the National Coliseum was the last last time, and it was a bit of an uncomfortable. We had a bit of an uncomfortable moment at the end of it, and then when that summer came for them to do the Monsters, we worked it out that would not happen again. That because that was really uncomfortable. That was a really horrible thing. I found out the day before Christmas Eve. That, yeah, I stopped in the Electric Lady Studios in New York on 8th Street in Greenwich Village, and this was before cell phones. So for somebody to find you somewhere when you weren't home, they had to go through a lot of trouble. And so I got a call at Electric Lady. I was out Christmas shopping and got a call from Paul saying, I'm really, really sorry. What are you sorry about? He goes, oh, you haven't spoken to Gene yet? No. Oh man, well we can't afford, and so they left the next day without me. Yeah,
Wow.
it screwed up that Christmas for sure.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they handled that stuff themselves, to be honest with you. I would have figured that would have had somebody else make that phone call.
Well, at that point, I mean, Paul and I were friends too, and he believed he was calling me after I got the news. So he thought he was calling to console me and to say how sorry he was, and I hadn't heard.
Yeah. He probably called Gene next.
Right.
Hey, you
Yeah.
dick.
God damn it! You were supposed to call him.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So.
Oh, sorry. Was I supposed to call him? I didn't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very nice, but yeah, that's why, like I said, when the Monsters of Rock thing came up, it was like, listen, I'll do it, and I'm happy to be there, but that stuff can't happen.
Right.
I never had another problem like that. The keyboards were a new thing, and I don't think that Gene really wanted them there to start with. Crazy Nights had a bunch of keyboards on it, which he wasn't a fan of. He never kept that a secret from me. When I had to sound check my keyboards, he was ice skating around the stage. Every time I'd start to play the keyboard by myself for the benefit of the sound guy, he'd put his arms behind his back and start skating around the stage. So to him, that's what keyboards were, and they were a rock instrument.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, he might have wanted to have been a little bit more involved in the production of that record then.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Record. That was definitely Paul's record.
That's definitely not a Gene record.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, feels kind of weird talking about all this, but yeah, that's the truth. And yeah, that tour, the ticket sales were horrendous at the beginning of that tour.
Mm-hmm.
And we go into arenas, and they would put the curtains up during the afternoon. It's like, we only got X amount of ticket sales. What do you want to do? The house is going to look empty. Well, move the curtains up, and they cut half the arena off just to make it look like a full room when people showed up, because that's all the people that were coming. So, I mean, I understood it. And, we'd be in the dressing room, and Paul would make jokes like, let's buy a pizza for the audience,
I went, by God.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was just sitting here trying to look that up to see when.
Yeah.
What year was that?
December
Well, it was
30th,
crazy.
1987.
Yeah.
87.
December
Was that your
30th,
first- was that your first show,
1987.
Alan?
That was my first concert ever.
Wow.
That's what
Yeah.
I
That
thought.
wasn't
I
my.
remember you
That
talking
wasn't
about
my.
that before.
That wasn't my first one.
Him and all of his 13 friends.
That's why I'm trying to see. Yeah, keep
Robert
talking.
Stadium, from what I remember, it seemed
It was
like
pretty-
there was,
it was pretty good.
quite a few people
Well, that's
there.
what I'm trying to. I'm trying to
Yeah.
see what it was here real quick.
Yeah.
That Midwest, there were certain towns that I'm sure that had pretty good. I mean,
See, Wilkesboro-
Evansville,
Evansville
did
has
really
always
well,
been
and-
good to Kiss.
Yeah, they've always been good to them. Midwest has always been really good to them,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a given. I don't know what happens when they get out to the South. It's kind of funny because even with the end of the road tour, the Southwest didn't sell very well. I mean, there were shows in the Southwest that weren't, the numbers that we saw was like, wow, what is going on? I mean,
It shows capacity of 13,600, but it does not show doesn't show how many attended. It's probably because it was so low.
well, it couldn't be any lower than what was it? Look at Creatures or whatever. Or Look It Up. That was
low. That was
low. That was like 4,000 people.
Yeah.
I remember that.
They might have beat that one.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Well, that would have been here. It is. That was on Ontario. Okay, Evansville. The attendance at the March 17th, 1984. That was Vinny's last performance. Bill and I were there. 5,369 people in a 13,000 seat arena. That was my first show. That was my first Kiss show.
Well, and do you have the numbers for Crazy Nights by any chance?
That one there, I looked and it didn't show it. It just shows it as a. It just doesn't show what it was. So, but no, it's and we use this. That's the Bible.
Wow.
Everybody's got that copy of that. But no, it doesn't have. Actually, I'll have to look that up on.
Might be in Julian's book.
Julian's real thick book.
Wow.
Yeah, Julian's got a book on
Julian
that. So.
Gill?
Yeah.
But it'd be the one.
Really?
The one and only.
Yeah.
That dude is a walking encyclopedia.
Well, I know he's really, really involved. I didn't realize he wrote a book like that. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's the first version.
He has a book specifically about Crazy Nights.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a book about the Elder.
That's just a short paperback book.
Yeah, he did a book.
3 pages.
Well, here's something funny. He did a book about the solo albums that Gene tweeted about the other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a picture of the cover of the solo album and picture of the solo album's book.
There's Crazy Nights.
And the word interesting. And that's all the tweet said. So Julian is either like, this is going to be really good or this is going to be really bad.
Well, yeah.
Well, Gary, you're probably even in the book about Crazy Nights then.
So it doesn't say here.
Good chance.
No, there was 10 digit open, and it said reported capacity it shows capacity. He doesn't have it either.
I bet they didn't release the date. I bet they didn't release the.
Yeah, because
I might have that in a scrapbook though, because that was in the paper that would have been in the paper in Evansville, because it always had they don't think they do that anymore, but they used to always do the following day. You'd have a concert review, and they'd put the number of tickets sold in there. And I bet I have that in a scrapbook.
Okay. So here's just the night before they were at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. That is an 18,700 seat arena. There was 8,500 people there.
Oh,
it was
that's pretty good.
45%.
That's good.
45% capacity. That was the night before in Louisville. That was in Louisville. So
then they probably did okay in Evansville then.
I imagine. I was there. It was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
I wonder if I was there.
I don't remember.
Maybe not.
I remember Bruce playing some keyboards. Did Bruce play some keyboards? I remember Bruce playing some keyboards.
He played the beginning of Reason to Live.
Yeah.
Because he did it in the video, and it was such an obvious part on the record that somebody on the stage had to be playing it, at least for the beginning of it, which is what he played. He actually was playing at the beginning, and I was playing along, and then he would stop like after the second verse, I think. Well, definitely before the guitar solo.
Right. Yeah.
For sure. Swing his guitar around, and he never went back to the keyboard after the guitar solo.
Yeah.
So on that tour, then, when you were playing the keyboards, and especially for the Crazy Night songs, were there other songs that you were putting stuff into?
I played on every song.
Really cool.
Yeah. And then as time went on, it became even more, because I was also singing background vocals, and then then I started also doing samples. Well, I did samples from day one. Sometimes like sound effects. I did explosions for sometimes. Because,
really?
Yeah. If the because not every hall allowed the pyro.
Right.
They'd have to go through a fire marshal at every show to run through what they were going to do. And some halls maybe they weren't big enough, or the fire marshal just didn't want it to deal with it. And and so there were shows where they'd allow them to use the sparkly stuff, or the rockets and the sparklers, but they didn't want the big bombs. And so I had samples of the concussions to match the sparkly shit, so that felt the same in the room. You know, it was shook the
That's
arena.
cool.
Yeah.
Here you go. Kaboom.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, do you remember Gene's bass solo when he'd shoot the rockets at the speaker cabinet?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When the rocket would hit the cabinet,
Right.
I hit a big explosion sample, and the
That's
front
cool.
of the cabinet fell open.
Was that the B key?
Yeah, I could have been. Could have been. I had
What was that? That was probably a low B, wasn't it?
very low. Very low.
That is cool.
What other
I've never heard it.
behind the scenes secrets do you have like that?
I did the Siren and Firehouse. What other sound effects stuff did I? Well, I was the voice of Leon on the Hot in the Shade tour.
Oh, that was a great tour.
Yeah,
that was a really good show.
I saw that at Mesker.
Cool.
I was at Mesker at our outdoor amphitheater. That was actually a really cool show. I liked that a lot. That was great.
I was stationed in Germany when that album came out, and I was 19 and had no concept of the fact that Kiss was not going to tour the world. So I was disappointed when Kiss did not come to Germany so I could go see him. So I missed out on that tour, but I did end up with the tour shirt.
All right, on. All right, so it's almost as good as being there.
Yeah, but
you
no, that was
have the tour shirt.
I do, but it's a small, and I'm an extra large now, so I could put it on my hand and use it as a puppet.
I've seen some pictures of you from when you were in the service. You're not the same size.
I look like I ate myself.
Anyway,
Something like that.
That's awesome, though. I love hearing stuff like that, though. Just the little behind the scenes stuff and little things and snippets, and that is cool. What a life!
all the adventures.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely had a lot of adventures.
Well, Gary, before we get out of here, pimp your website once again.
Oh, okay. It's GaryCorbettMusic.com.
And that's CORBETT?
Correct.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to watch some of these videos.
Well, Dennis is going to go down the YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah. It didn't take long to get there.
There's an end on the website. Although once you get, but there a lot of the videos they don't allow you to actually download, so they're actually
sure.
My website will link you there. So
sure, yeah.
So it is the rabbit hole is a possibility. For sure.
And we look forward to seeing you again at Rockin' Pod next year. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Or we got to figure out how to get to a scrap metal show. Or
I want to go down to see.
I got to figure out how to get down
Printer's
on
Alley.
Friday night on Printer's Alley.
Well, you know what? Definitely come down. I've been trying to step up my social media game a little bit. I'm trying to step into the 20th century here.
Right.
I know it's the 21st. I'm just kidding. But yeah, and so thanks to my buddy once again, Steve Thompson, I-40 Media. He put together the website for me, and he also is created a Facebook one of those pages as opposed to a personal account, and he'd set up a Twitter account, and so he's putting that stuff out there as far as like shows and everything I got coming up. So
what was the name of the venue that you do play up there in Printer's Alley with Derek?
It's Bourbon Street.
Oh, Bourbon Street. Okay, it's called Bourbon Street. Gotcha. Street, all right, awesome. Yeah, I haven't been up there for a long time to Bourbon too. Actually, Printer's Alley.
You should come out. It's good. It's a fun night, and we had started kind of late though. We started at 10:00, but
that's okay.
Come on.
That's about what time my sound job starts, so I'm used to being up late.
All right. Yeah, you take a nap in the afternoon.
I also want to give a shout out to Steve because he had shot me a message and asked us to put your link on the interview we did with you at Rockin' Pod. So when I replied, he added you to that email. So shout out to Steve for helping get you on this show.
There you go. See what I mean?
I like Steve.
Steve is amazing. I got to tell you, he blows my mind every day. I get these emails with he'll just say one sentence. Have you seen this? And then it'll be a link, and I'll click on it, and it'll be something that like from 40 years ago that I had no idea existed. So
that's kind of cool. You got your own scrapbook now. Of things that you didn't know existed. That's cool.
Yeah, Yeah,
That's really cool.
and it's all in one place. And so,
Wow.
and my career has had so much variety as far as the people I've played with and stuff. So, like, it's a pretty strange mix of music and stuff, and the common denominator of it all is me, but it's not all any one thing. I mean, like I said, there's Martha Stewart commercials and there's, scrap metal playing Boston songs all on there and everything in between. So
Cool.
yeah, check it out.
Check it out. Get some people to check it out.
All right, man. Stick around for a second while I take us out of here, Gary.
Okay.
Visit us on agesofrock.com. Find all of our social media there and our links to Stitcher Radio. And one of these days I'll get our iHeartRadio link on there because these two idiots cannot help me with the website. Or they won't help. They probably could, but they're just being lazy. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
All right, people. Till next week. Peace out.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.